Hey everybody, in this video we are going to do scientific notation on calculators. A calculator displays 1.71 E6. How do you write 1.71 E6 in scientific notation? So on some calculators it'll be written this way. This is the calculator's way of writing scientific notation, simply because on a calculator, with some of the screens, it's hard to write an exponent, right? So for example, let me get my marker out here. Let me sketch a quick calculator over here. Right, we got some buttons over here. Okay, and then the screen over here. On a lot of calculators, the screen is just a single line, and there's no way for the calculator to present something like 10 to the sixth power. On some calculators, they can do that. On other calculators, they can't put an exponent on this one line over here. So instead of writing that, they would just write 1.71 E6. But what that really means, what the calculator is trying to tell you, is that the number is 1.71, 1.71 times 10 to the sixth power. Okay, so this exercise is pretty simple, actually. Let's do another one. 2.51 E6. If you see that written on a calculator, then the calculator is really trying to tell you that the number is 2.51 times 10 to the sixth power. Okay, and the exponent is not always a 6, obviously. This one would be 5.77 times 10 to the negative fourth power. Okay, whoops. Oh, I wrote a comma in there by mistake. Oh, I must have hit the comma button. Okay, I shouldn't have, yeah. Well, so this one would be 4. I guess I put a comma in there for the last one. I should have put a decimal, obviously. I hit the wrong button. Okay, but you get the idea, right? Okay. I'm going to... Oh, there is no other level over here. Oh, that's it? Well, sometimes they ask you what it would be in standard form. So far over here, it's only been asking me about scientific notation. You have to pay attention to that. Eventually, we'll get a problem where it's asking me about standard form. So hopefully one of those will come up soon. No, this is another scientific notation one. Really, really simple. It's going to ask me about standard form. Ever. Okay, this would just be, okay, here it is, standard form. Okay, good. So 8E8 means 8 times 10 to the 8th power, which really means 8 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. I would have 8 tens multiplied together. So basically, I'm going to start with this 8 here, and the decimal point would be right over here. Remember, if you don't see the decimal point, then it comes right at the end of the number. For times 10 to the 8th, we would just take that decimal point and move it 8 spaces to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The new decimal point would be over here. So we would get an 8 with 8 zeros after it. Keep in mind that the decimal point is now here. It is not here anymore. A lot of students will write 8.000000000, but that is incorrect. The decimal point is not here anymore. It's actually at the end of the number. Of course, if it's at the end of the number, then you don't actually have to write it. So I'm just going to erase that and click submit. Okay, again, standard form here. This time we have, in scientific notation, it would be 8.7 times 10 to the 7th, which means that I take this decimal point here and move it 7 spaces to the right, because this is a positive 7. If it had been a negative 7, I would have moved the decimal point 7 spaces to the left. But it's positive, so I'll move it to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. New decimal point is here, so I get, just put zeros in all those blank spaces. And now we have 8, 7 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros after it. You might think that it should be 7 zeros after it because this is a 7 over here, but that's not the case because we started over here, so we had to sort of burn one of the spaces by in order to skip over this digit over here, and then we only had 6 spaces left to count, so that's why there are only 6 zeros over there. Okay, oh good, now it's giving me a -1. Okay, so again, it's asking me for standard form. You have to pay attention to that. Is it asking you for scientific notation or standard form? This is asking me for standard form. Of course, first I'm going to write this in scientific notation. And that helps me figure out what it should be in standard form. To get from this to standard form, I'll just take the decimal point, and this time I'm going to move it to the left because this is a negative. I'm going to move it to the left 7 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This decimal point would be important to write in the answer. If the decimal point is at the very end of the number, then you don't need to write it. But if the decimal point is in the beginning, you definitely do have to write it. So this would be 0.00000033. So that's 6 zeros and then a 33. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. Do not put the decimal point over here where it started because we moved it. Now it's over here. Okay, and I think IXL would accept it this way if I just hit submit like that, but you could also put a 0 in front of the decimal point. It's very common to do that. All right, I think all the rest of these problems are pretty much the same, so I'm going to end the video there, and have a great day.